Yo, it's Misha Dex and
Your boy Keymon.
so let's jump into it. I'm just kidding.
Well, I got my. What's you gonna ask me about my club?
Listen, I was wondering if you was doing that to match your hat because I was about to say you taking it too far with the matching.
It was partying this weekend.
So you ain't showered?
I ain't showered.
I knew it was a little tarnish.
Yeah. It's hard out here for a pimp. You know what I mean?
Well, I will say it was a pleasure seeing you yesterday. I know the attempt was so that we can record some really magical moments again with some black men.
Mm.
But I actually do want to talk about it. But before I jump into that, how are you doing?
I'm well. I'm excited for this episode because we have our show and tell, I guess.
Show and I'm gonna tell you something.
But I really wanted to refrain from using the word tired, right? Because that's everyone. We're all tired. It's part of it, like I mentioned before. So definitely wanted to refrain from that, but just bring a different energy, different answer. I'm excited. I'm excited for this one. Okay. Just based on obviously our goal from yesterday and what we able to accomplish, and then also bringing in that thoughtful idea of what we had to do for homework for this episode.
Got it. And it's interesting you brought up that because I, being a creative, I'm like, what angle can I spin on it where it's not just, oh, let me create something because you said let's do it. I really wanted to put thought into it, and so two things came to mind, and I guess when it's time to reveal that, we'll go there. But yesterday was powerful. Yesterday I had the pleasure of not only doing the photography but taking like documentation of Jalen's going away party / water fight. That was crazy. It got crazy. I did not. Okay. They knew not to touch me. No, it was. You know what? I really. I'll start from the smallest to the biggest part of the day. Seeing how free those kids. It was so many children out there, and they were fearless.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they came together and they dominated the adults. And the way they mastermind that was crazy. Like you had kids participating from like the lowest age of 5, right, with the teenagers.
Yeah.
And they were ambushing the adults. Yeah. And I mean, it was the funniest thing. And it made me think about like how many times people have said that kids can't lead or take the lead, right? It was so many emotions that came up with that. But one of the biggest things that I took away yesterday was something that Trevor said. So they had a man circle, and in the man circle, he had all the men from both sides of Jalen's family stand around him and gave them a moment to shed light on whether it was giving him a powerful message or reminded him of where he comes from. But the way Trevor opened the circle, he said, too many black men do not tell their sons they love them enough. And they don't verbalize the way that they feel. And what I got from it was, how do we expect our young men to trust us if we can't even tell them we love them?
Yeah, it's a tough one, and obviously I don't know what it's like having a son, but definitely know what it's like having a nephew, and actually trying to be there, and and really not carry your trauma into their lives, right? Like, because it's not what they signed up for.
It's not.
And speaking on that wonderful thing about the circle and everything, I had a question for you. How do you think Jalen took it, or did you get to talk to him? Because that's a lot of pressure.
So first of all, if you know Jalen is a very chill, very few words, right? He cried, like his eyes welled up, right? I think he was overwhelmed, but something in me told me he already knew. And that's what I wanted to tap on. Like, when did you realize that you were loved?
That's a tough question.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he didn't have to seek the gratitude. He was in it.
Yeah.
Like the way he showed up, even the way he kept asking me, "Is it time yet? Is it time?" Like he kept initiating conversation to get into the groove of being, the photo shoot, the quick little interview.
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome, and I'm so grateful to be able to capture those spaces because we don't get to see it enough. Like, we see stuff more now that social media is present, but we don't see it enough. Black men and their presence with their child, and then encouraging other black men to come in, because a lot of times it's don't say nothing to my son, don't discipline my kid, or whatever the case is. But I wanted to bring up a conversation I had with Daisy this weekend, and we were talking about how we are not jealous of our friends that have significant others or having children, right? What we notice is there's things from our childhood that we notice are happening with their kids that trigger us. I won't share hers, I'll just share mine. For me, when I see my niece Tristan getting ready for her dance, and the way her mom shows up, and I lost my mom at a young age, and then the way she gets poured into, it's not that I'm jealous, but I feel more of like moments of emotion for that than I do my friends having kids and being married. Yeah. Because that saying, you always want what you don't have. Yeah. That's the thing, that it's not the relationships. It's not the buying a house together. Yeah. I think because I have some of the best relationships as far as my friends, it is not as complicated as it would be with a lover. Yeah. But seeing my niece, and sometimes other people, like for example, you, Parker, some of my male friends with y'all daughters, I have these moments where I'm like in awe. I'm in awe. Like, dang, they got it. Yeah. They got it.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And it just took me back to, friends who I knew in college or whatever who had their parents. But they were trying their hardest to be like the opposite in terms of like a thug or like, and I'm just like,
you don't have to do. You got it, right?
And that's coming from obviously my parents are my parents, right? And they, but I don't know what it's like to have that 2-parent home.
But I don't know what's attractive about struggling. Somehow we have gotten it wrong. Like being the bad boy, the good girl attracted to the bad boy, right? Yeah. Like you got this young man that's going to school, got his degree, then you got this dude with 4 kids, gang banging, police record. It's like, oh, but he just the way he. It's like somehow we have been enticed by the wrong things. And I can only speak from a heterosexual woman perspective. It's so many ways to look at wanting something that's the opposite when it ain't even good for you. Yeah. But the main thing I wanted to talk about in the midst of all of that is just the idea of we always want what we don't have for whatever reason. I feel like as humans, we always feel like we're missing out on the other side of something.
And that's where that phrase, like, the grass ain't greener, right? It's really owning the moment and who you really are. And that segue into a moment I had last weekend with my daughter. And she expressed something to me that it was my first, I would say, real father teenager daughter situation. Right. And she it was on the lines of like relationships. And saying, oh, I'm seeing everyone with relationships, I'm seeing everyone doing this, all my friends. And
so pause. Tell me from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being upset, 1 being just cool. How are you feeling now? Before you tell the situation, how do you feel now as a father sitting in this moment?
What was the scale?
10 to 1, 10 being angry, 1 being calm. Where are you right now?
I'm at a 3.
Okay, and what were you when this situation happened?
When the situation happened, I was at an 8.
Okay.
Um,
So what was the 5 notches that got you down?
my opportunity, the opportunity to create the space.
I just wanted to make sure you get that out. That's why I had to do
Yeah, no, it was an opportunity, and obviously when it happened, I had that first initial like anger. You know, walked away, came back. As things started to unravel, I had to separate. Right, I had to separate the moment and what occurred in the moment versus what she was feeling or curious about. What you're curious about, we can talk about that another time. Let's talk about the situation. In this situation that happened, we can't move forward. Well, obviously we're always going to move forward, but it's not going to be good for you if it continues to operate in this stage. Right. So
let me just say, I love that your emotional intelligence allows you to, one, scale anger to calmness, right? Identify where the calmness was able to combat the anger, and acknowledge that you needed the opportunity. Like, it wasn't just an opportunity for her to speak up, because that's the thing that I noticed. That's what your parenting is about, giving them space to speak up, but to identify that you needed the opportunity. What was the, and I know you were about to say something, but I just don't want to miss this moment of what was the opportunity that you needed. Like, how do you identify what that opportunity was?
You don't grow without challenges. And I feel that with my girls, how I handle the challenges is going to determine our relationship when they become young, really like adult young women. Right? And I really have some sort of fear, or have some fear that they are not going to be comfortable with speaking to me about these type of things. And in the moment, I realized when I walked away the first time, this is a teaching, this is a building moment, this is an opportunity, this is how are you going to do it? You can, because you still can lay down the punishment behind it and things of that nature, but how are you going to explain? And so that was the focus when going back, and that's what was able to turn me around. And and going back to the relationship piece of it, and what I told her, because obviously social media, these reality shows, and everything is just being exposed. And what I told her is, what you don't see is the emotional hurt that goes into these relationships.
So you mentioned earlier, the grass ain't always greener. And I always said, because sometimes it's astroturf.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is green, but it's fake.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fake.
Exactly.
And until you understand the importance of real grass and the nurturing it takes and how you care for it, the way you make sure that the grass is cut a certain way. Again, these are all metaphors of relationships, right? Just because that is so important. And I know me and you kind of briefly talked about it yesterday. I said, I think that what's important, one of the important roles for a parent is to be able to, if someone told you your child did something, your child through and through, that you can say, nah, that ain't what they'll do.
Yeah, exactly.
I can stand on business on my kid don't move like that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the relationship between father and daughter, right, or parent and child. What's the difference between opportunities with other family that you do either? So like you when things happen with you and your daughters, you obviously um, take the extra step. Mm-hmm. What do you think is stopping you from having that same type of patience with other family members or even friends when things happen?
I think it comes down to being combative about my feelings or my perspective, and I think that's where it can go wrong for me. And I also feel like I've been on the other side of it, mm-hmm. you know. But that's what I tell my daughters. I said, like, if you move and you have intentions behind, you can hurt everyone that you come across. Mm-hmm. But if you're moving with intentions and able to explain why you moved the way that you move or did or said or whatever the case may be, no one can challenge that. Right? They can be hurt by it, and you can say, "I'm sorry, let's move forward," but they can't challenge that because you were intentional with that in that moment. So I can't sit here and say hurt you and then get mad at you for feeling hurt. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, I'm sorry, and I did this way because X, Y, and Z. So I think that's it for me, is being combative on my feelings and how I feel about the situation.
And the reason why I ask that is because I always say, it's a parent's love. It's mm-hmm. way different from being best friends, being a lover, mm-hmm. being siblings, right? Like, because I'll be looking at some of these kids and be like, what the hell is going on with you, right? And then I'll be like, yeah, I can't forget that. Yeah. But I'm not a parent. Yeah. So I know it's a different thing. Forgiveness looks different on parents.
Yeah, that's why people say never say never.
Right.
Never say never, and because it's a road.
Well, speaking of the word never, I never thought that I would see moments where you didn't allow emotions to completely take over your thought about something. Like, I've seen you walk away from things, yeah. right? And in friendships, it's something different about you as a dad. Like, even when I could feel that you like here, you come back with a laugh, right? And then I see you like do something different with the girls. It's like, I don't know, you don't hold space to be mad.
Yeah, they call me grouchy.
They do, but it's funny.
But no, because I realize the importance, but realizing the importance of communicating with them, how I teach them, how I show them. That's important. But also realizing, like, I'm also your dad. Yeah. And I'm also going to make sure that when the line needs to be drawn in the sand, it's a thick line.
And I love that, because it's important I think there's different roles we play in life that prepare us for different things, right? Like, your daughter's obviously created a space where you could be, I won't even use the word soft, because that could be misconstrued, but they give you a space to where your vulnerability allows you to grow. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And even like the different roles we have in with your fiance, your friends. Do you believe, like, now that you're a father, and I know this turned into this whole fatherhood thing, because I'm in that zone because of what I saw yesterday. But do you feel like fatherhood has been the best hood you've been in?
Definitely. And I think there's been different layers of fatherhood. Right? If we talk about 3-level cake, like, there's been different levels. There has been different levels of fatherhood. And I definitely feel like this is the best one out of by far, just because again, like challenges are happening, and it's creating moments so that they can grow. I can grow as a dad. What I can send them to move the conversation, continue to stay on the same topic, but not in an angry way, but in a damn, okay, that stood out to me. And one of the things that my I asked my daughter, I said, so how do we move forward? And she's like, well, I I lost your trust. Like how, like and I told her it wasn't necessarily about trust, but now we know.
Right.
Like you didn't know possibly before, but
Right.
now you know.
Right. This is a trust check.
Yeah. And so so with that being said, I'm lead into
Okay.
the
activity.
The activity of what I drew.
Okay.
Last week. So what I drew last week. A village.
Okay.
And so, and it wasn't about getting this picture perfect moment.
Okay.
It was an exercise to capture my week and being able to articulate it, right? And so I drew a village because this is my first teen experience that I'm having with my daughter, and now I need my village to check in, whether it's just talking to her or coming to me, giving ideas, giving her a different perspective. This is what it takes.
That is so interesting, given that she was literally invited to come over.
Yeah.
For my other niece's pool party. Yeah. So I love how alignment has never failed us, right? Like no matter where we are with what we're trying to create. So I don't want to take away from you still explaining the village, but I love how that has come together. Yeah. That I didn't know that that's what was going on. And then you present your drawing, and then it's representing something that's already taken action. Yeah. Like you manifested that.
Yeah, definitely. And so, you see the water that flows. That's me working through my emotions because it's flowing. And then I put a sun, which the sun didn't come out as great, but every day is going to be different.
Yeah.
Every day is going to be different, but
and
it still shows up.
Yeah, and the sun don't look the same every day anyway. Exactly. So that's pretty dope.
Exactly. So yeah, that's my.
Okay. Well, I had multiple things come up for me, and then I was like, you know what, this is kind of more relevant to what's going on in my life. So instead of doing a drawing, right? At first, I was letting words come to me, and so I was in the shower last week. Well, one of the times, and like I just kept hearing words come through, and the words that just kept coming through, and it was almost like my mind was repeating it until I said it out loud, and it was like, God isn't gonna ever fail you. God is never going to fail you. God is never going to fail you. And it just kept doing that. And no lie, I jumped out the shower and I just kept screaming, like singing it, like till I caught a rhythm that made sense to me, right? And then as I was thinking about it, I was like, no, that can't just be it. That can't just be it. And then I went in the closet and I took this hat out. Okay. And last time you asked me how would I do this hat, and I grabbed those wings that I had. Like I have 100 brooches, probably more. And I was like, I'm gonna put wings on this hat because I need my mind to be able to have room to grow. Like there's so many thoughts and ideas and things I want to be a part of. And just because I have a cap on doesn't mean I'm capping off my thoughts and my creativity. And so I put the wings on there. And then as we was getting ready for this episode, I found my Not Today Satan. And what do all those have to do with what I'm dealing with right now? And that's because other people have tried to make a decision on what makes me valid in the last week. And it's not true. Yeah. The devil is a lie. Yeah. Like, it's not true. Yeah. So I don't know if I knew to appreciate what you asked of us last week. But it did create a space to think outside of the norm, right? Yeah. And use creativity in the way to express, like, I want to have free range to think and explore all my options. I want to know, I know, and I need to walk in that God is not going to fail me. Yeah. And not today, Satan. Like, I can't allow you to step in and ruin my thoughts before I get to my gold, my pot of gold. Yeah. So life is changing right now before me, but I don't know, I'm not scared. Yeah. I'm actually more curious than I am anxious about it.
Well, with that said, you have no reason to be scared.
Yeah.
If that's true.
Life is interesting.
Yeah, man, tell me about it. And we talk about it every week about the importance of finding your people, importance to share. Like, man, there's so much power in that, and I just feel like, even having this drive over here and talking to one of my buddies, just talking about life and hearing the things that he has going on and giving me advice on what I have going on, looking at my relationship from the outside and telling me I got it. Just the little things.
Yeah. Just little. Well, one of our listeners encouraged us to keep going. It wasn't one of those things that I was talking about the episodes or anything. Her message was keep going, because she said, more people need to talk about family dynamics in a way that they're not ashamed, because we didn't cause the shameful acts, right? Yeah. And she was like, keep talking about how important it is to break generational curses, how important it is to create your own healing circles so that you're not becoming a part of the trauma that is still, fading out in the world. But most importantly, keep talking. Yeah. And I was like, yo, that keep talking piece sounds so simplistic, but it means so much because a lot of people are talking. And I always say it, there's somebody that don't have anybody.
Yeah, no, for sure. Keep talking, that's another one.
Yeah, keep talking. So with that being said, why be negative?
Why you point at me?